my friends. Well, welcome to another episode of Land Stories Live. I am your host, Dave Deniston of Generation Family Properties, LLC, where our goal is to help hundreds of people like you own land, raw land, pure raw land. And most of all, we want to tell your land story. Well, let's open up this today with an awesome groaner of a joke. Are you ready? All right, here it is. I dreamed about drowning in an ocean made out of orange soda last night. It took me a while to work it out that it was just a fantasy. Get it? Fantasy? All right, people are tuning out. Let's talk about land. Well, today, my friends, we have a property here in back of me, so stay tuned for a while. We will talk more about that in just a little bit. And what I want to tell you about is we have a blog post that we recently put up that is titled How to Buy Land, 7 Essential Tips. So let me share my screen with you and let's take a look at it. All right, so this is what the blog post looks like. You can go to our website here. And I want to point out a few things. We're going to skip over some of this stuff here. One of the things that I think is important when we talk about raw land, whether you're talking to myself or someone else, is checking for existing liens. So what happens when we buy a property, we go through a due diligence process. And so we will end up calling the county, for example, and we'll talk to the county recorder and we'll ask them, hey, are there any liens or encumbrances on the property? So if there are back taxes, we might find that out through them or through the county treasurer. If there are the government, the IRS, has put a lien on this person, it's possible the IRS might have a lien on the property. And so, as it says here, the notice is a public record. Get a hold of the county records office to see whether or not there are any lien notifications on the property. So we call this a clean title when there are no liens or encumbrances, where someone owns the title outright. What happens sometimes when we buy a property is someone might have passed away, where the person that owned it, maybe one or both of them have passed. And so that's not a clean title because that person isn't with us anymore. And so it's important to go through that process, and that's something we do before buying a property. Title companies certainly do this as well, but it's important to us that we do it on our end when we are looking at properties. You also find out if there's any sort of financing, like, for example, a mortgage company would have a lien on a property. Floodplains and flooding, this is definitely important to do. You can go to a FEMA website. So let me see if I can find it. FEMA. So FEMA has some flood maps. So what you can do is you can enter in GPS coordinates on here, right here, to see whether or not a area might be flooded. So that's something definitely really important to do when you're buying land. So certainly there's road access and easements. You don't want to be out in the middle without being able to drive to your road, as this property that we had in Costilla County has great road access. So what we do is, in order to make sure we have legal access to the property, is we tend to buy properties in subdivisions. So if you go to our website, genfamproperties.com, if you look at, for example, some of our featured listings, here is a lot that's in Oregon and Klamath County. And so when we buy properties, we'll look to see that it's in a subdivision. So in this case, it's in the Oregon Shores Unit 2 subdivision. And that's how we make sure that, at least the vast majority of the time, there's road access. You can see there's a dirt road access here next to this property. What can happen is you can end up buying a property that you can't legally get to. So something like that is super important to do. And then there's all kinds of good questions that we have here. So definitely check out the blog post, and you can reread over it and take a look. And again, how you're going to get to that is if you go to genfamproperties.com, in the upper right-hand corner, we have a blog hyperlink that if you're watching on the video, you'll see me clicking on here. So we have one here, 5 great campfire recipes, and one right below is the one I was just talking about. And there's lots and lots of good stuff that we talk about here. So make sure to check out the blog posts for sure. Well, let's get to the good stuff, talking about a property. So here's one that I am really excited about. I can't even tell you how many people constantly are looking for a property that has power and water. This one has it. It is in a community called the White Mountain Lakes in Navajo County, Arizona. And what's unique about this property is, number one, it has trees. This isn't some desert area. So not only does it have that, there's a lake nearby called White Mountain Lake, which I'll show you in just a moment. We have a video on our website that I'm going to play briefly for those of you that are watching on video. And what you'll see on this video as we look around is there's this beautiful lake that is near this property, which you have access to. So if you buy this property as a homeowner, you can have access to this lake. So it's a gorgeous lake. You can see there are quite a few boats out there. This is zoned for quote unquote rural zoning, which means basically it's residential. So single family dwellings, you could do some minor farming on there. You can camp on the property, those sorts of things. So if we look on the Google map, which you can zoom in here, I'm going to pull a larger version of it. We keep a Google map link on our website. So this property is 1/2 acre. Most of the lots in this immediate area are 1/4 acre. You notice there's lots of houses around here. So a lot of our properties are off the grid. This is what I would call an on-the-grid property. So if someone is really looking to build, they want to get away to a cooler area, this is a perfect place to do that. You don't want to have to worry about the water or the power. Obviously, with homes being nearby, you can do that. Some people might call this an infill lot, a lot that has utilities available to it. So here there's a bunch of junipers that are around the property. And you saw on my background right now, behind me on the street, you notice there's some nice trees, some post office boxes, stuff like that. I'm going to go to the bigger map here now and scroll out some more. So you can see there's quite a few houses in the area. There's churches, there's an appliance place, there's a general store, there's a post office, fire station, and up here, so there's the property. Up here, there's the lake. So we were just looking earlier at the video that had the lake on it. So White Mountain Lake is the name of the lake. It's a nice sized lake. If we keep scrolling out, you can see there's an airport here, regional airport called the White Mountain Lake Airport. There's a golfing place if you love to golf. There's the post office down there. And where is White Mountain Lake? You might be wondering, where the heck is this? Well, if you look here on our map, Snowflake, which before we had gone over, I think, some properties that are in Ranch of the Golden Horse, that subdivision is up here, north of this property. Show Low is south. If we scroll out a little further, if you're not familiar with where that is, north of White Mountain Lake and north of Snowflake, you get into more of the deserty properties. We have had some properties in Holbrook, near Holbrook, for example, in Sun Valley, where we have more deserty properties. There's a petrified forest, which is kind of cool. Apache County is not too far away here. If you go further to the west, you'll see there's Payson. Down to the southwest of Payson is Phoenix. So you would go from Phoenix up to Payson, head east then from Payson onto highway, what is this, 260? 260 will lead you right into the National Forest and through Overguard. And once you get to Overguard, it kind of comes to a fork. On the southeastern side, you head to Show Low. On the northeastern side, you head to Snowflake. So it's probably a little faster going to Show Low. Show Low is certainly a place where you could get more groceries. You can see there's another lake here another airport, has a much bigger city than White Mountain Lake. So if you want to go to a Walmart, go to Wells Fargo, go to Safeway, all that kind of stuff here is in Show Low. So not too far away from where this property is, which is a little more set aside, not anywhere near as busy. So for someone that wants to retire, I think this would be an awesome property for you. Now, I did mention that water is available. That is through a company called Voyager, the White Mountain Lakes Water Company. We have power on the streets. Obviously, with all those houses around, you can imagine. For anyone who ever wants to see it, we keep a Google Drive folder that has pictures that aren't on our website. So if you look on our website, we've taken original photos here of the lot, which there's a few. We have some videos embedded, but that's not all. We have photos here on our Google Drive as well. So I'll scroll through a few of these so you can have a feel for the area. Some of these are a little dark. Obviously, you can see the power lines in some of these photos. But this is just such a nice area, and we had someone that was super excited that bought one nearby not too long ago. We have some distance here so you could see. To Albuquerque, it's about 4 hours away. To Phoenix, it's about 3 hours away. And we have 2 parcels here. There's one of them. And the other one is right next door. It's the one east. So we own this one and that one, which is what we are selling with this lot. About 17 minutes to Show Low. So nice and close, convenient access. 2 different lots, half acre in total. So if you are looking for this property to have a retirement home, a place to build, place quiet and set away for retirement, this would be an awesome, awesome place to do that. We'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen now. And as always, want to thank you for being with us. If you have questions, we would love to hear them. We do intend, the show is relatively new, but if you have questions, submit them on our Facebook page. So if there's questions you specifically have, something you want me to cover, we would love to hear from you and answer your questions and give you a shout out for being on the podcast. And so, my friends, that wraps up this episode for today. Please tune in every Monday at 11:30 a.m. Central and Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Central. Thanks again so much for tuning into Land Stories with me, Dave Deniston. Make sure to check out all of our properties at www.genfamproperties.com. That's GENFAM properties.com. And if you are looking for land, it would be my honor to speak with you. If you would like to speak with me directly, you want to talk about the property we're just talking about in White Mountain Lake, my phone number is 775-234-2058. Again, that's 775-234-2058. Thank you so much and have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.